Galopin Champ, delighted how he's come out of his race. I think we're all set for Leopardstown and maybe another showdown with Factifile, and Embassy Gardens is in the mix as well. Vanilla Cocooner. So we have a nice team from Close Sutton going there.
Just talking to Martin Brass the other day, he's obviously looking on from afar now.
With Fast or Slow, yeah, that was. I mean, we were gutted for Martin because we know what it's like having one competitive horse, Grade 1 horse that you're looking forward to the whole season. Then when we heard the news, you know, I mean, I know on one side we would say, well, that's one less for the Gold Cup to take on, but for a fellow colleague training, it's a body punch.
I think he was saying there's a bit of a wow factor when you take on Galopin de Champ in the state he was in at Leopardstown the last 2 years, and he was sort of implying that for the likes of Factifile, it's very, very difficult to take on him at that stage of your life as well, when he's in that form or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, to me, Galopin was awesome, and he put in 2 huge performances in Leopardstown. You know, they're both Gold Cups. Savills. No. What was it this year?
Whatever it is, yeah. What is
We'll
it
think
in
of
the
this
race? Christmas.
Still the Savills, yeah. The Savills. And sorry, the racing tomorrow is now the O'Driscoll's Whiskey, isn't it? That's it, yeah. So that was where I was making. I mean, he just loves Leopardstown, and hopefully he can do it one more time.
Just on Embassy Gardens there, is he maybe better than what he showed last year? He was impressive.
Embassy Gardens just disappointed us a little last year in the National Hunt Chase, I think it was. And so this year, you know, when we went down to Tramore, there was nothing making the pace, and I said to Mikey, you know, if you bounce out, he loves galloping, he loves jumping, see what happens. And it worked out fantastic. Mikey was really delighted with them. We were, Sean and Bernadine were as well, you know. So Fast or Slow went, and now they might have another horse to take over as their number 1 horse. So we're very pleased with him. And we're just a little bit worried about his second half of the season form last year. So we've got to be, you know, we're going to do a bit of soul searching before we allow him run and find out. A lot of people said maybe he's better fresh. I'm not so sure that. I think maybe I should have him fresher coming from home rather than training him as hard as we did train him. But we'll see. We'll see how the season goes.
Now at Factifile, Willie, he obviously.
Factifile is good. I think both, you know, JP and Mark are probably keen to take on Galopin de Champ again, and so I'm sure he'll, all being well, he will line up.
What can he do different?
Well, I think he'll probably have to do something different. I'll leave that to Mark and see what he wants to do. He might have a different tactic up his sleeve, but I won't discuss that until the parade ring before the race, you know.
And looking back on his performance the last day, you know, maybe a little bit keen.
A bit gassy, all right. Yeah. So, but I think as horses go through the season, they're inclined to be less keen, and he'll probably race a lot better for that, I think.
And would the Gold Cup still be, are staying trips still at the forefront of your mind with him, or is potentially coming back in trip an option in your head?
He has options, but that's for other days in the DRF. We're talking about the DRF here.
On the DRF, if I might just jump in, Willie, Fabiano, we haven't seen much of him recently.
No.
What's his state of fitness in terms of where he wants to be?
Hopefully I'll have him ready for that. He did a nice bit of work yesterday. He hasn't been himself to my satisfaction this year. He's a little bit more difficult to train, and but you know, I hope to have him to get a run into him there, and maybe he'll be the last quarter of the season, I suppose. We can't say the second half of the season anymore. We're well into that, so I'm hoping to get Grade 1 performances out of him yet. We've got a few festivals to go.
You mentioned in that race, Gaelic Warrior, you said earlier in your opening address that he's one I'm looking forward to run, one of the most in that race. What about him in terms of where John Bon is and that 2 mile sort of chase sort of?
John Bon's going to be hard not to crack watching him the other day, but I feel we have a chance. Maybe Cheltenham isn't John Bon's favourite track, so we're hoping it might just edge our way. I know Cheltenham is left-handed and Gaelic Warrior might be a little better right-handed, but I don't let that worry me too much. You know, you try, and if a horse jumps a bit right. You try and just straighten up as much as you can and hope that your raw ability will get you through. Like, you know, Gaelic Warrior has run 2 cracking races at Cheltenham, maybe 3, I'm not sure, but was he second in the... Yeah, and then won... Yeah, so, you know, it's some people go mad thinking about either left-handed horse or right-handed horse. To me, if you have a good horse, you just run him whatever the better races are and you try and work around it.
Would you be keen to keep all 3 at 2 miles, or are you going to step any of them up, do you think, the 3 champion chasers, that's it?
It'd be nice to have ABC, I think. You know, if they step up, they're going to meet another group of horses. And, you know, you're caught between the devil and the deep blue sea, I think, with some of those horses that mightn't be good enough. So if you go up to the Ryanair or you know, there's no other race for the 2.5 mile horse, so they'll probably go to the Ryanair and Fairy House or Aintree, where the 2.5 mile grade ones are, you know. So we'll see. I think Cheltenham is going to lose out. You know, they're going back into handicaps now, and that's never good for racing, I think, if they're going to make just days and days of handicaps.
Yeah. Are you consulted in these things? Well, we spoke here before about the Leopardstown programme.
I don't want to get involved in the way English racing is run. It's not my jurisdiction. They're entitled to run racing whatever way they want, and I try not to comment on it. You know, I wouldn't want England come home and tell me how to run my yard, so I'm not going to tell them how to run their business.
But you'd rather that 2.5 mile, that 2 mile 4 was still on the programme at Cheltenham?
I don't think it's a way forward. I mean, putting in a handicap into top class racing is not.
Seems to dilute the top class racing element of it.
Yeah,
straight away.
You know, it's anyhow we're talking about Dublin Racing Festival, who has
Stateman, is he good since Leopardstown?
Stateman goes to Leopardstown, yeah.
Yeah.
Did anything
definitely.
show up, though, from that?
No, I don't think so. Nothing that we.
It wasn't the real Stateman. You're pretty adamant it wasn't. It wasn't the real Stateman that.
Oh, he didn't turn up. He didn't turn up. Now we were very disappointed. Yeah, but
first day in his life that he didn't run his race, pretty much.
Yeah, disappointing. You know, on all counts, and I don't know why, but hopefully we can get him back to himself, and we'll only know on the day. But we're happy what he's doing at home. So.
Was it a mad race? You know, like when you've 2 horses going off hard, Paul is trying to keep him in his comfort zone. Or was he just genuinely not himself in the day?
I mean, the winner put in some performance. I'd be delighted to have her in the yard here, and hear that, Michael? But it was a huge performance. I mean, I was in the stand. I was in awe of the performance she put in, and you know, so our fellow, maybe the pace. You know, I mean, like Lossiemouth, when she went to Kempton, she just couldn't handle the pace because we'd been settling her all the time in those 2.5 mile races, and she set off at a I'd say she set off at a 3 mile pace, and you could see that when the pace went up, I said, Christ, we're not competitive here. To me, the race was gone before she hit the first hurdle, and I thought she ran well considering where she jumped off and the pace she jumped off at, what was in her head and what we'd been teaching her for the last couple of years. It'll be different the next day.
Do you think she'll sharpen up from that in her head, or?
We'll just sharpen her at home. Yeah, simple. Press a different button.
When is the next day, Willie?
We're talking about Dublin Racing Festival here. Could well be that. Well be that. We haven't decided on our next engagement yet. She's in obviously at Dublin, and she's in at the weekend. But we'll have a war council the next 24 hours and then decide.
At this point in time, does Stateman still feel like the number 1 contender for you with regards to the
champion? Always. You know, disappointed at Christmas, but never knock a horse for one bad run. We don't anyhow. You always forgive a horse one bad run, and he's our number 1 contender.
At Tanzadam, Willie, I suppose you have to pitch him into that sort of company.
He will. I'm trying to find an intermediate race for him, and is the Red Mills maybe something like that? You know, I might just do that. He's in Dublin Racing Festival, but I'm going to have a look and see what. I think the Red Mills is about the only. It's a bit. Say that again.
Isn't there a race in Naas on Sunday?
Is he entered for it? I didn't look through the entries. I had all these people coming here this morning. So, is he in? Yeah. What race is that? That's the
Limestone Lad.
What? The Limestone Lad. Yes. Yeah. That's the other race I was trying to think of. Yeah. So he's probably stuck in that. That might be it.
And just with him, Willie, do you think, like in your mind, is he kind of ready to go at the top level this season?
Amsterdam, yeah. We had him as a juvenile, and I think he hurt. I think he gave himself a bang somewhere, and we couldn't get him out. I was so disappointed we couldn't get him to Cheltenham, even though we had Majborough in the race and whatever else we had. Amsterdam was right up there with him, you know. So that's the sort of company I put him in with. Hope I'm right, but he has to go up. We'll see.
While you mentioned him there, Majborough, obviously
in great order, yeah. So he looked Arkle material there. So he handled Leopardstown well. So very pleased to go back. Very keen to go back there. Yeah.
I suppose his jumping and everything seemed to tick all the boxes really for a lot of people. Did it impress you as much as it impressed everyone else?
It did. I mean, I was, my heart was in my mouth. When you have a horse like that, of that calibre, going, I find other people enjoy them more than I do. I would enjoy watching other people's horses because there's no pressure. As I said, when I was watching Battle Over, Brighter Days Ahead, I thought, wow, it was awesome. I was, I enjoyed it. Whereas when you're watching your own horse do that, you say, oh, Jesus, will he fall at the next? Will he genuflect, or what will he do? So my heart's in my mouth every time he puts in one of those spectacular jumps. You're waiting for the worst to happen all the time. So I actually don't enjoy my own runners putting in performances like that as much as other people do.
Will Il Atlantique stay at the 2 miles as well, do you think?
Yeah, I think he'll have to let him go in the Arkle, and then we can decide whether he go back to Fairyhouse or to Aintree for the 2.5 mile grade 1,
Ground important for him, or? Yeah, sorry, same. It's ground important for him, or?
I didn't think so, but I imagine softer ground is probably better. Is that what you were thinking? Yeah. I think he's a lovely action, but possibly ground over 2 miles might be too.
He's a stronger horse this year, though. Maybe he just wasn't seeing his races out last year.
Yeah, and he's another one that maybe I just need to keep a little bit fresher at home. Sometimes you just keep training them, and it's only after the season is over you think, oh, did we do too much with him after his first run? Some horses take so little work, but it's hard. It's very hard going down to a big festival to say, I won't gallop him. I won't gallop. I'll do one less bit of work, because my father was very good at that, and I'm learning to have that sort of confidence, not to have to work every horse to the nth degree to win. That as the season goes on, you relax a bit more with them, but then you kick yourself when jockey comes in and said he needed another gallop. So.
It's more instinct you train them more so than it's kind of more an instinct you train them more than
I think so, yeah. I haven't put what do you call these pads the rugby players put on them, I haven't put those on yet, and the computer telling me how to train them, and I enjoy going up to the gallop, looking at them and making a decision about whether we're going to do more with him this week or less with him this week, and
what are you looking at?
That's the enjoyment of it, I find.
What are you looking at when you say looking at them? What do you tell them?
I'm looking at
the movements?
The shape of them, more the shape of them, whether they're doing well, whether they're... Sorry, blacksmith, that's always the bell for lunch. But anyhow, just the shape of them and how they're recovering from their work. But the shape of them every morning you go out, whether they're putting on condition, whether they're losing condition, whether their muscle is, whether they're building muscle or you're tearing muscle off them, and that's really what it's about, and how they come up to the gallop, if they want to come to the gallop, if they don't want to come to the gallop. It's like looking at your staff coming in every morning. Are they first in the gate, or are they hanging back, or do they want to go to work? And that's morale, I suppose. And you say, why are that person like that? And you say, why is that horse not enjoying coming up to the gallop?
How important is it to have people you can trust with their feedback then, in terms of delegating?
It's very, that's, to me, I couldn't work without all the feedback I get from all my staff. You saw me there this morning. I'd ask everyone about every horse, and I just to remember all about those horses. There's so many of them now. It's different when you have a smaller yard. You can remember everything and you can know what every horse is eating and drinking, and you just physically couldn't remember that. And so I depend on the people who are running the barns and who are riding the horses to do all that.
Just sorry on episode, you're happy for the horses to take each other on at the top level as well, like last year, fact final game.
Yeah.
This is a festival that you're very happy to run two good horses against each other in.
I think you have to. I think the races are there for those horses. Those horses can't run in other races. I mean, you know, when we go racing now, if there was 7 races, we'd have horses that are only qualified to run in 3 of them, if there are. You know, so the good horses are sort of barred out from all the races, and you've only got a certain amount of races you run in, so you run. But I think when people invest money in good horses, you've got to run them in the good races, even if the same.
Run those 4 in the Ladbroke.
What are they?
Ballyburn, Cheltenham, Dancing City, Imperial Passy. Will those 4 all go together?
I'm not sure where Imperial Pass goes. Ballyburn will probably run all right, and Dancing City. Just have to have a look at where did he run last? Punchestown, was it?
Punchestown, yeah.
That's how long ago?
Nace this Sunday. Dancing City.
Dancing City. He'll probably go there, yeah. So you probably picked
Do you think he ran his race?
the wrong race that you. For me. No, I think Ballyburn just we found out there and then that he couldn't jump with. Now, Sergino could be a superstar, so. If there wasn't Sergino in the race, he might have been adequate. But at least we found out that we're not going down the 2 mile route with him, which disappointing to bring him over there and get beaten. But my only other option was to go to Limerick, and we had the race set out for Imperial Pass in Limerick, and I said, what's the point of burning 2 bullets down there for one race? And we thought, let's go over there. You know, he should have gone to Leopardstown, but of course they took away that race and whatever.
And was the firm conclusion in your mind that race says he's not a 2 miler?
I sort of had that conclusion in my mind. I was surprised that was he favourite for the Supreme Novice Hurdle last year, and we ran him in the other race, and I've been happier with that. I think with looking at his pedigree, looking at the stamp of horse he is, he's got Stayer written all over him, I think, and hopefully his attitude will let him stay. He'll have to settle and he'll have to do a lot of more things right, but that's all part of growing up, you know.
Yeah, I know it's the DRF mainly, but tomorrow's a big race in this part of the world.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Just a little bit about it, if you wouldn't mind, how much that race means to you and maybe your early memories and what it means.
Well, we used to get a day off school, which was brilliant. And I mean, the traffic coming through Gores Bridge at the time, you know, up from all the people coming from Wexford, the Wicklow, and they come, you know, that was to me just the size of it. And Arkle, did he win it in '63 or something?
He won it anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know what year.
Who's the?
He won it.
Yeah.
I don't know what year.
You were there?
I'm not sure I remember him. No, I'm not sure I remember winning. But I mean, the fact that he won it came down to our race in Gorn and won it. Yeah, I mean, the Tayestas. And the Tayestas, was it always the day after the weights for the Grand National were published, I think. That's my memory of the Grand National weights used to be published so earlier. So if a horse came and won the Tayestas, he got in off the weight. Yeah. And, you know, so it was a big race. And it still is a big race. I mean, the amount of people that from around here will go racing, but also the amount of people come from all parts of the country. Tayestas Day is a day that a lot of Kilkenny people come from different parts of the country to meet all the old friends and whatever, you know.
You won all 8 of the Grade 1s last year. Is it too much to expect you can do that again?
Say that again?
You won all 8 of the Grade 1s
Oh,
last
Jesus
year?
Christ, I didn't even realise it until someone said it to me. I'd say that'll never happen again, you know. It was just, last year was just a phenomenal year, apart from Dublin Racing Festival, the whole way phenomenal. And I think we were written off at Christmas, were we, just before Christmas?
Whom?
Anyhow, and well, a lot of the keyboard warriors, probably as they call them nowadays, but you know, and then the whole thing just came together and just as I always say, if someone came to you with a Hollywood script and said the trainer's going to do this, and this, and finish off the year with all that night, it's madness stuff.
Did you know?
And it just happened.
Did you know going into that weekend you're in a really good place?
No. Yeah, we thought the horses were good, but it's like going to Cheltenham if you have, like some years we'd have maybe 8 or 10 favourites, and if 5 of them can win, or if you can have 5 winners out of 10 favourites, say, and even your favourites mightn't even win. So maybe 10 favourites, you might win with 3 or 4 of them, but your second string might come through and beat you. But people, I'm always amazed at the confidence people have in us going to somewhere like the Dublin Racing Festival or that other festival, and they think it's automatic. You're going to have all those winners, and we go there, we load them up here, and we're hoping, we're not expecting.
How has Gaelic Warrior come out of Christmas? He
Very
seemed
well.
to jump much better, straighter, should we say, at Leopardstown this time than he did when he was at the Dublin Racing Festival, for example, last season. Is this something he's learning with a bit of maturity?
I don't know. I think Patrick probably just kept him to the outside, kept him near the outside wings, and that's a big help, so he didn't give him much room to run down a fence. And sometimes when you just bottle up a horse, he has to jump straight, he'll jump straight, You're always worried about a horse like a Styrian for Longe, and he used to jump right as well, I think, so and when you put a Styrian for Longe in against the wing, he couldn't physically get himself up off the ground. He had to do a sort of a sidestep before he jumped, so we just learned actually just give him room to do his sidestep, and he was fine. And it's really only in the last quarter of the race, maybe the last 2 fences or the last 3 fences, that it's really going to count. So you just hope that they're not racing as hard as you need to be at that stage, that you can actually just jump them. If you're only going 3/4 speed, you can jump a lot straighter than when you're going flat out.
Do you feel like it's quite important for him to get a little bit of cover mid-race just to keep him nice and settled? I suppose, again, going back to the DRF last year, he didn't necessarily have that being a 2-runner race.
It's hard to know. We just it's not something that we set out because we don't know what the opposition is going to do. If they don't go on, we might just be as happy to let him roll along in front, especially now that he's got that race under his belt, and with the way he jumps, if we're allowed a lead, we'll take it.
And last question.
There's Amzidam going in there,
Does he show the same jumping attributes at home as well if he's being schooled? Obviously, with there not being as much.
No, when at home you're never going that speed. If you are, I'd probably kill the guy who's riding him. But
Okay.
yeah, you shouldn't be anyhow. You shouldn't be. So, and then our schooling strip is a little bit tighter as well, so they don't give as much room to jink right or left. Sometimes they do, and you might go down and jump it again 2 or 3 times. If I have Paul, David Casey are one of the top class jockeys, that they can make them do what they want them to do. But I think when a horse is flat out in a race, he's going to do what he wants to do anyhow. And so, it depends on how a jockey can ride him. I mean, we saw Paul the other day with that filly in Magic McColgan, I think it was, and she veered right over, but Paul just didn't want to interfere with her in case she tripped up, but he'll probably be ready for her the next time and probably just keep company. I'd say she just got a bit idle in front and probably getting a bit tired as well, and horses do things when they're tired.
Just on the topic of jumping, Jasmin de Vaux, are you disappointed with him this year?
I am, yeah, but I think if you go back to his point, did you ever watch it?
I haven't, I don't think.
Yeah.
He was fine, there's no issue.
Oh, I wouldn't have said that.
do you feel that was more when it got to the deep end of the race, though?
No. We were worried about it, and actually when we spoke to the people who pointed him, they said, he got over the bars, or those point-to-point fences, but that was it. Like, I'd have hated to have had those big stiff fences. They used to be. I don't know, we're schooling him and we're trying to give him confidence, and I wonder that a confidence thing, because you're always worried when a horse does that, has he got a physical problem? Well, we can't find any physical problem that should make him do that. And I just wonder, I can put cheek piece on him, I can put blinkers on him. We haven't done that yet. We'll just give him time to learn, or to try and give him confidence. I think confidence is a big key with him.
Would he be good enough for a flat campaign?
Flat? Wow. Now you're putting things in my head now. I never thought of him as a flat horse. What do you buy again? Can you think?
Jasmin de Vaux.
Is he? Yeah. What are you thinking? Sort of a staying race in...
Shows he's got the engine.
14 minutes, yeah. I'm very worried. My jockey hadn't rung me up for instructions, but he probably wouldn't listen to me anyhow. Video. Sorry, I'll just see, do I have a mixed call from him? No.
Well, it's just one thing. When we were down here before Christmas, you said because of the good ground in the autumn, your horses were maybe 2 weeks, maybe behind.
We were well behind. It was so dry everywhere, yeah.
Have you caught up to the Dublin Racing Festival?
I think, yeah. I better say I have any.
Yes.
No, I think the horses are fit. I mean, we saw that. I mean, we had one or two setbacks at Christmas, but New Year's Day, what was it, 4 winners or something? 6 was it? And then they've just flown since that. So we're very happy. Yeah, very happy.
Just on a couple that we haven't seen. Ilete Tomk, is he on the way back?
No, I think I'm not sure he's going to make the season at all this year. Yeah, just disappointing. He got a little knee trouble. And it was right. We had him back in training, and then he went wrong again. So I'd more or less pulled the plug in my own mind. If he comes back for Punchestown, that'll be the best. I'd say.
And Jade de Grugy
is back in and going. Hopefully, we'll have Jade ready for the rest of the season.
Did you get ready to go in time for Cheltenham, do you think? Or?
I'm hoping, yeah. Hoping that, yeah.
Yeah, Mystical Power, where are you with him at the minute?
What can you do? I mean, I'd like to run him in he's in the stairs hurdle, isn't he, in Cheltenham? Yeah, probably go out and trip with him, all right, yeah.
Okay. Obviously
but whether I run him, I don't know whether we're going to run him. Is there something else from to run? Is the Red Mill Toll, is that 2.5?
Yeah. And
maybe
there's a 3 miler at Goran as well.
I don't want to do that now, because that's take too much to recover from that, yeah. Not at this stage of the season.
Final demand, Willie? Will he lead the team for the Nathaniel Lycée?
Final demand, what?
Will he lead the team for the Nathaniel Lycée?
Yes, looks like it, yeah. Is he the best we've got in that race?
Jasmin de Vaux.
Super Sunday, yeah. Where's all my list gone?
And Victorious to win it as well.
Sounds Victorious, they're all...
Would Super Sunday step out that far and trip, do you think?
I think, does he need it? I'd say he needs it.
Does he?
Yeah.
He pulls hard though, does he? No.
He probably does, but we can put something on him to stop him doing that. But I think a lot of our horses, a lot of the races we've contested in it have been very slow paces. And a lot of the horses pull. So, and their second run, they'll probably drop it a bit too. The excitement will be gone out of their system, you know.
Kate Doughty likely to go there as well?
He will go for the 2 mile version. That's what's in my head this minute now, unless something else changes. Yeah.
He's an impressive looking horse, isn't he?
He is a fine horse, yeah. I mean, from the first day he came to the stable, I thought the same. I just, some horses hit you. Like, first day I saw Fact to File, first day I saw Majborough and Kate Doughty. They're just fine beasts that you'd want to buy and want to ride, get up on,
They ran against each other, didn't they, in France? They ran against each other in France, didn't they?
Who?
Majborough and Kate Doughty.
Did they?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I probably know that, but...
Just a video of it.
Forgotten that.
Salvatore Mundi, is he too quick for him, or...?
Oh, he won't run. Next run will be Cheltenham. And...
what did you think of that run, Willie?
I was very happy. I'm very happy with him. I thought jumping the third last, he had no chance. He'd blown up. He took a breather, and to do what he did, come back and beat them all, I said, wow. After pulling as hard as he did and running his race, and I'd be quite forgiving of him, knowing how long it took us to get him ready, and that the fact that he blew up, well then, I said he blew up, he'll be much better the next day. And then he just got his second win and came out around them and beat them, So to me, that was good enough. It was very good.
Does he tend to jump a little bit better at home as well than what we saw the last day?
He jumps way better, yeah. He just pulled too hard. His head was into flying, not racing. And so I'm not worried about his jumping. We think he jumps very well. There'll be a lot stronger pace in Cheltenham and he'll let fly then.
What about Cope de Boards? Similar concept apply in terms of his jumping?
Yeah, I'm disappointed with him with his jumping now. I couldn't understand that because he jumps well at home. Just wondering, just have in my mind that there was another reason for that.
Patrick kind of said that as well, didn't he? Patrick kind of said that after his interview afterwards, that he wasn't sure.
Yeah, well, I think he jumps well enough at home. I just think I have another reason for that, which I'm going to change the next day. And it's not the jockey, even.
Who's leaving the parade on Patrick now?
Yeah, well, I better.
Your perspective, do you think? Or?
Yeah, I think it might be just what we had on him. We'll change it the next day. Yeah.
The juvenile scene seems very wide open in this country. You're obviously going to have a bunch, I assume, in the big one at the DRF.
With some nice horses.
How does St. Lucie compare to the likes of Lossiemouth? They're both by Great Pretender,
yeah,
which we've had some success with before.
I was really taken with her performance. I didn't expect that. I thought she was half decent, but I thought that was a huge performance. Knowing that she's only half ready, so she's going to improve a lot, I hope.
You said Lady Vega Allen could be one to go right to the top.
She put in some run the other day, yeah, and we were only hoping to get a run into her to see what she was like and what she did. So I think with normal improvement, she's going to be. Hopefully she'll put in a really good run in Dublin.
And that same day, Marcia seemed a little bit
disappointing now. I think looking at her French form, she probably wants spring ground. She might be more a Punchestown mare.
Okay. Will she run at the DRF, do you think?
I imagine she'll run. She'll run, get experience, and is anyone keeping an eye on Catterick there?
Yeah, we'll get it here for an hour.
What time is it?
1:30 on the boat.
Yeah, it's 1:38, so I have 8 minutes.
Sonny Bill obviously ran well that
He
day
ran well, yeah. He had plenty of experience in France, and so I don't know how much improvement's in him because he had all that experience. He mightn't have as much improvement as the other horses.
Okay, and you'd imagine they'll all be thrown in the pot and see what happens.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Just one we haven't touched on, quickly. Champ Kiley, he was supremely impressive to come out and do what he did.
Yeah.
Such a long layoff in the injury. How is he?
He's good since. When was that race?
And he won it. Christmas.
Fairyhouse.
After New Year's Day, yeah. Yeah, so he'd probably take his chance as well. So time-wise, it's fine, anyway.
And some of those K horses, Carafan and.
God, we've enough of them, haven't we? Yeah. But they've all run well, and they'll all win their races. And I don't know how much any of them are going to improve. But I'm happy to have them in the yard. Yeah, nice horse. He won in Mallow, was it?
Yeah, and he ran in the Future Champions against Carafan and a few of those.
Where did he finish that day?
He was well beaten that day.
Yeah, that was disappointing, all right, yeah. But hopefully he'll be better than that. Might want better ground.
Okay.
So meeting of the waters could be a bit of a handicap block.
Yeah, are you talking about his hurl mark?
Yes.
Yeah, but it's lovely having that mark, but he mightn't get in.
Oh, right.
Because he's 45 and I think at max 25.
How many can you take out?
I don't know if we have that many in the race, but I was just looking at that this morning. That's the worry there, so we have to find a race where he can get in,
I have one last question, Willie.
Yeah.
Who's your best chance of a winner at the DRF?
Ooh.
It's a good one as well.
Ooh. I'll go with the horse behind you, Galopin the Shop. We're going to back him up until he doesn't need any. GSI, that's it, yeah.